Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. I'm not the host today. Our host is the amazing Munir El Bamre, who is going to be kicking off a series of programs on opportunities in Morocco, such an important location geopolitically, such a dynamic economy, one that's full of future opportunities. And I'm just really looking forward to learning more. Thank you, Munir, for organizing this. And thank you, Mona, for contributing in advance for, I'm sure, it's going to be an outstanding program. I turn it over to you, Munir. Thank you. Could you let us know a little bit more about what the plan is for today, how people ask questions, how we should approach the meeting, and how best to learn from you, both of you?
Okay, so thank you, Doug. Thank you, Caesar, and thank you for all the global members to assist today for this Globinar. So today I will share the floor with Mona Shakawi, which is the CEO of Mona International, and she's based in the US. And she will talk in the second part about the business culture in Morocco. So this webinar will be shared between me and Mona. I will talk about the presentation of the country, about the potential that exists in Morocco, especially what advantage this country can give for investors. And also the second part, which is very important, and I will let Mona introduce a little presentation before she will take the floor, is about the business culture and how to make business with Moroccans. And that's very also important because the culture differs from country to country. And that's the plan of these webinar. The third part is open to Q&A, so questions and of the attendees. And as you said, Duke, it's a kickoff of a series of webinar that we will talk about each sector and each region differently. So thank you. To you the floor, Mona, for the brief presentation of your.
I was under the impression that you would be starting first as far as the opportunities.
Yeah.
You will go first?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So I will share with you a presentation. So it's clear for all people?
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yes, we can see it.
So Morocco, yes, Morocco is a country that it's these parts of the world, as you say in the map, for people who doesn't know this country. So it's, as you see, it's like a center of the world. I don't exaggerate, but it's strategically positioned in the world. So if you see this position, it's connected to 1 to 10 days to all these blue clear cities. So you see, for example, to the US, it's less than 10 days. And for Europe, we are 14 kilometers away. And also it's connected, it's in Africa. So, so that's very important in Morocco. It's his strategic position. So as you can say, it's like 184 connection with 71 countries by shipments. It's 40 kilometers from Europe, the gate of Africa, and also 9 millions of containers per year. So Morocco also has a great like history. and it's the first country to recognize the US. Yes, you can see this information very strange, but the US was first recognized by Morocco in her history. So just for joking, so it's like a great relation between the US and Morocco. It's an historical relation between these two countries. So it goes to hundreds of years. So also Morocco has a great coasts. So as you see, he has two sides. A side on Atlantic, which is 2,934 kilometers of coasts, this side, and also on the Mediterranean side. It's like 512 kilometers. So in the total of 3,500 kilometers. So these data also give Morocco a potential for making a lot of points and a lot of ports in these coasts. So we will talk for the 3 points globally. It's how Morocco is competitive, how Morocco is pro-business, and how Morocco is also sustainable in his strategy and in his vision. So competitive by his advanced infrastructure, high qualified human resources, and strategic position, giving access to potential markets worldwide. So when we say markets worldwide, yes, we will say that Morocco has many free trade agreements with many countries. Let's give, for example, so he has a free trade agreement with the United Kingdom, with the US, as information is the first African country which has free trade agreement with the US. So it's a big advantage for exports and for business. They want to establish their business in Morocco, so they can benefit from the free trade benefits and to export to the US. We have also the African Continent Free Trade Area. So Morocco is also a member of the AFCFTA. He is also he has free trade agreements with the European Union, with Turkey, with Jordan, Tunisia, Egypt. It's almost all countries. So Morocco has developed really an external strategy to access more markets and give chance to his product to access more than 50 countries and 1.3 billion consumers. So that's a big number. So it's one of the most advantage of making or establishing a business in Morocco. Also, in terms of competitiveness, so Morocco is ranked first in North Africa. Investment attractiveness, it's second in Africa. And infrastructure and digital connectivity, it's the first also in Africa. In terms of doing business and ease of doing business, is the third in the MENA region, Middle East and North African region, and 53rd globally. So easy of doing business, we will explain why, because in this figure, you can see, for example, that in the MENA region, he's advanced by the United Arab Emirates at the first place and Bahrain. And in the third place, we can find Morocco. So easy to do business. Why? Because we can see some actions that can take a lot of time in other countries, but in Morocco, you can make it in less time. For example, establishing a business. It can be here like in 5 days, for example, in Morocco, or having the construction permits. It can be in 3 days. Registering property in 9 days. Trade cross borders, 3 days. So just I want to focus on these trade cross borders because I know some other countries that suffer a lot from time that they waste in the ports. For example, if they want to export goods to other countries, so they can spend a lot of time in the administrative papers, etc. But in Morocco, they have made a lot of efforts to avoid and to gain this time, especially for perishable product like fresh fruits and fresh vegetables who need like minimal time to be exported. In terms of infrastructure, also Morocco is the first high-speed train in Africa. He has the first speed train in Africa, the TGV. 19 international airports, 1,800 kilometers of highway, and we have in Morocco here the Tangier Med, which is the first transshipment platform in the Mediterranean and Africa. That's very important for trade and for business. Is to have good infrastructure and to avoid wasting time and also wasting energy. Morocco also has made a lot of effort in terms of industrial zone. We have more than 149 industrial zone in Morocco, with 10 industrial acceleration zone, with a total area of 12,000 hectares. And you can see in the map how they are dispatched here. Also, a major point in Morocco and very good advantage is a young and competitive workforce. 39% of the population between 20 and 45 years. An ad hoc training center jointly developed with investors, 152,000 graduates per year, and a growing number of partnerships with leading international universities. In addition to all what I said, so the government gives subsidies for investors, tailor-made offer for investors, and also recruitment and training financial incentive. Also, it gives, if the projects are very important and very useful, they can give land, office space, and industrial planes in main zone, and also financial supports. So in Morocco, we have a leading global industry. We can talk about automotives, aeronautics, textile, agri-food industry, pharmaceutical, outsourcing, and other industries. So we will go fastly on these industries to have just a brief idea about indicator in each industry. So for example, in the automotive industry, we have an export turnover of 8.3 billion US dollars with an integration rate of 60%, with a vision to attain 80% of the integration rates in the next years. We have 250 companies that are operating in that sector, 220,000 jobs created, and 700,000 units of vehicles that are manufactured in Morocco, with a vision to attain 1.5 million units. And also with an export destination of 75 countries. In the aeronautic sector, we have 40% of local integration, 140 companies that are operating, with 20,000 creation of jobs, revenue of $2 billion, and especially for North American markets and Europe. The vision is to double these revenue in these next years in 2.5 times. So if something not clear, you can stop me, or we can let questions at the end of the presentations. So
you might encourage people to raise their hand. If you have a question, please raise your hand. And then at the end of the presentation, Munir, I'm sure, will answer additional questions. But raising the hand really helps when you're delivering. So that would be great. Sorry, Munir.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So in the textile industry, 12% of the Moroccan exports value is done by the textile industry. More than 1,200 companies, with a creation of job of 189,000, and with an export turnover of 3.6 billion. The agri-food industry also is very important in Morocco, because we have in Morocco a vision of the Green Morocco plan, which has led to a lot of production in terms of raw materials. So what needs Morocco now is like food industry, processing industry. So now with an export turnover of 3.5 billion, the companies are 2,100, and the jobs are more than 160,000 jobs that are created. There are different markets for food industry in Morocco. Morocco exports to Americas, Europe, Asia, and Africa. Also, I will notice that Africa now is very huge market for Morocco. The pharmaceutical industry, it has a turnover of 1.7 billion, a produced unit of 450 million, and with also markets like Europe, Africa, especially. We have in Morocco also a very high level of outsourcing, because as you know, Moroccan excels in many languages. So they speak fluently Moroccan, Arabic, they speak French, they speak Spanish, they speak English. So companies have found in Morocco and a very good base to make their support, their customer support companies. So in the outsourcing sector, we have an export turnover of 1.4 billion, and Morocco is the first country in North Africa in terms of outsourcing, with a creation of job of 120,000, and the major markets are Europe and Americas. And without we don't forget the special sector, which is energy. So in Morocco, the energy sector has gained a lot of trust from the king of Morocco, and he has invested a lot of he has made a great vision in this sector. So the vision is like by 2030, so 52% of energy mix will be from solar, wind, and hydro. Now we have 37% of the energy produced are from renewable sources. That's the details of the projects, and in the hydropower, wind power, and solar power. So Morocco has produced 1,770 megawatts installed capacity in 2018, In 2020, it has reached 2 giga, the wind also, and the solar. So we have a great project in the south of Morocco, which is named Ouarzazate Noor 1. It's 480 hectares with an installed power of 160 megawatts. And it's one of the big projects that has been installed in this sector. Recently, you can hear about the X-Link Morocco UK power project. It's the world's largest 4,000 kilometer high voltage. It will bring the electricity from the south of Morocco to England by a subsea cable. So it will be also first project of that size in Morocco. So we have also the green hydrogen strategy, which is also good opportunities for investors. So now the government has identified 1 million hectares of land to make it available for investors. An initial phase of 300,000 hectares has started now, and there are a plot of 10,000, 30,000 hectares for each investors. So the green hydrogen strategy will benefit from shared structuring infrastructure, investment incentive, and also tax and customs incentive. So I think if I have exceeded time, Mona, so yes, I have exceeded by 5 minutes, so sorry. So it's the last slide. So and more sectors like electronics, mechanical, chemical industry, heavy trucks, plastic processing, and leather. So that is globally the presentation, but yes, sure, we will have more details about each sector in the next webinars of these series of webinars about Morocco. Thank you for your time, and I will let the floor to Mona for the second part of this webinar. Thank you. Mona?
I'm right here. Can I start sharing my screen?
You
it
should
says
be
you
able
cannot-
to.
You cannot start screen sharing while the other participant is sharing.
Oh, okay, I will stop. Okay.
Okay, wonderful. I hope you're ready for my section because it's going to be fun. I tell you what, I can give you, just like we say, I can give you a car. I can give you, I can pump it up with gas and give you money and tell you, hey, let's meet somewhere in San Diego in California. But if you don't have a map, how to get there, it will be impossible to do it. You can figure it out, but someone has to give you that map or actually be with you and accompany you to get to your destination. Culture, working with anyone out in the world is no different. So let's start with the fun part, share my screen. And that is right here. Okay. Let's see. Oh, why is not that? Why is that? New slide. Well, bear with me.
You need to go across to slideshow.
What? Why is it? What did I do?
I'd say.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
see the-
There's that button. Who's the PowerPoint person? It's down in the bottom somewhere, I think, right? That shows.
Yeah, that's it. Slideshow.
Hold on.
Yeah, but we can see it. That's the good news. But
The good news is you can see it. Hold on 1 second. What's going on in here? For some reason, I don't.
No,
My screen is not showing the slides that I'm used to. Okay.
Could somebody give her exactly where on the screen it is? It's too small for me to see. Who's
Drawing, well,
Yeah.
usually I have it right here.
Mona, if you go up to the top menu, it says File, Home, Insert, Draw, Design, Transitions, Animations. You want to click on Slideshow.
It
and
was
then it will,
hiding. Never
give you a
mind. It
couple of
was
options
hiding.
there.
Here
Yeah.
we go. I see it. Thank you so much.
Yay!
Yay, we got this.
It takes a village for sure.
That's exactly what I said. All right, let's start with somewhere. Anywhere we go, we cannot assume. It'll be foolish of me to come here and tell you this is how it is done in Morocco, because Morocco is a country of diversity, of so many ethnicities, so many languages, and mindsets. So if I can summarize it or shrink it into something really small, I would say you can divide Morocco into the rural side and the urban side. If you are planning to invest or do any business in any area, first thing is know their culture and how they operate. And on this pyramid here, and that's what I train on, the Lewis model out of England, that came up with this very interesting analogy or assessment as far as cultures. And Morocco, the culture of Morocco falls into what we call on top multi-active, and they have lots of traits of multi-actives, and that is, I will go over that later on, but also they have some traits of reactive cultures. Now, when we are building a house, we do start with the foundation, and knowing where we're heading, it can make things very easy for us. Like I said, it is mixed culture. A lot of people, when they talk about Morocco, they assume it's Arabic. Believe it or not, Arabic is a language that was taught in school to be able to read the Quran and the texts of the faith. However, ethnically, it is not. And if we are looking at the population overall, pretty much about 1% of the population makes the ethnicity, if you want to call it Arabic. Do they have some traits of the culture, the Arabic culture? Yes, they do. But as far as ethnicities, they're quite different. So you will have different languages depending on where you are. You have Arabic, Amazigh, which is the original language of the country. You have French, you have Spanish, a lot of English is spoken as well. Religious affiliation, 90% Sunni Muslims, Maliki school. What does that mean? They're very quite open. Population of 36 million, and it is the oldest kingdom in the world beside Japan and Great Britain. It is referred to as a country, Maghreb, which is west. That's what the name of the country is. The West. It has a rich culture, history of stability, which obviously encourages investors from all over the world, and lots of traditions and steady growth. Working hours, Monday through Friday, with Friday as special day, but not off. The only time between, I guess Munir can correct me, 12 to perhaps 3 o'clock is where people go and do their Friday prayer and go to their family and have the couscous, which is the national dish of Morocco, on Fridays. So there's a lot of tradition, very welcoming people, hospitable attitude, and with that being said, sometimes people, if they travel there from the United States, depending on what area, they may feel overwhelmed with so much hospitality. They're very, very warm and accepting. I didn't want to use tolerance because it's just the wrong word to use, but they're very accepting. As far as free trade, they're very liberal, highly educated population. And just so you know, in Morocco, when we're talking about universities, it has actually the oldest university in the world. So knowledge, education, pursuit of excellence is highly sought after. And as far as population overall, highly adaptable. I mean, anywhere you put them, they can adapt very quickly just because of the strategic location that is connecting Africa and Europe and also the West and the East. And tourism, of course, and also a history of several civilizations that inhabited the region. So they're quite adaptable and speak a lot of language. Now, when you are entering this market, one thing I can tell you, you must have vision and purpose. The vision by that, okay, what is it that you're bringing to Morocco that will benefit both parties? Because they will look into that. They're not looking for investors that will build buildings, real estate, and malls. They have that. What they're looking for is innovation, technology, education, something that will advance the country and its population. And you have to have a purpose. Okay, am I going to use Morocco as a market on its own, or am I going to use it as a platform to enter into different markets? And we're talking about Africa, specifically French Africa, or Europe or West Asia, because they do have a lot of free trade agreements with so many countries. So if you are using Morocco as a hub or as a platform, that will be ideal to enter into different markets. Now, we'll talk about the society overall. And just like I said, somebody asked me yesterday, how do I do business with Chinese? I said, which Chinese you're talking about? Is it the one from Beijing or the one from Shanghai? Is it older, younger? Is the same thing here. But there are main characteristic of collective societies or multi-active where you can definitely see that it is group oriented. Family is very important, of course, and they consider the individuals as integral members of their immediate and extended family. Things are changing a bit, especially in the cities. The younger generation now is more, they're more into the individualistic mentality and self-being, self-discovery and all that. But in other parts, like I said, the rural part, there's so much into family, not just the micro, but the macro as well. If you are going to do business with Moroccans, I will highly recommend that you develop relationship first, and business can be conducted quickly that way and more efficiently. Now, tips for good business. All right, seniority, Mr. and Mrs., respect to elderly, avoid embarrassing anyone, and just like that. Do not blame people for mistakes in public. They basically believe in the saving face, just like any Asian or many Asian countries. They're very indirect, and they may not tell you no to your face. They will say yes just to avoid that saving face thing. And after that, they will do whatever they want to do. So if you are dealing with someone and they say yes, or they say, for example, inshallah, well, it doesn't mean that it will be done. You just have to do more talking and take it one step at a time. As far as dress well and be well groomed is so important in Morocco, both in business and in social context. Moroccans tend to have a fluid notion of time, meaning, okay, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Don't go with the mentality of deadlines and pressure, and now we have to do it now. Sometimes it's not going to work. It may work in certain situations, but in others it may not work. It's laid back, and we say there is a saying in there that goes like this: people who rush into things, they die quick. So that's the mentality. Just take it easy. It will get done when it get done, and nobody needs to be pressured or rushed. High context communication. Basically, you will be dependent a lot on body language, gestures, and they may say a lot just by their faces, the way they use their hands, the way they move their body. And that's something that you just have to get accustomed to, or hire local, or hire consultant as far as what those body language mean. And nonverbal was still here. They will speak less and listen more when they don't know you. When they know you, they will speak more and listen less. That in general, okay? And there are some things that I wanted to show you here just to give you, I don't know if you can see me or not. I see the logo of the Global Chamber, but this is just giving you an example. I wanted to show it to you. Can you see me? Yes, maybe? Okay. Well, it's not that important, but you can get the idea here that some gestures mean different things to different people, and also mean certain things in various situations. Formality, keep formality until you get to know the person. Be familiar with the protocol, especially at the start of the relationship, and just be courteous. They do appreciate courtesy and respect. Credibility, it will take time. Face-to-face is very preferred, much preferred over phone and emails. They're, like I said, multicultural or multi-active. A lot of multi-active societies, they prefer face-to-face meetings. But if you're doing email and text, if you don't receive responses right away, just remind them, because that's just not the way they're accustomed to. But with foreigners, it will be different things, as long as you explain to them how you would like things to be done. Presenting ideas, just be clear and concise as much as possible, and actively seek their participation. I put these out if you want to take photos, but I know time does not permit us to go deep into details on these. And both provide electronic and hard copies as well. Negotiation, it will start with small talks. They don't go into the subjects right away. It will start with small talks and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It may take longer than expected. Just be patient. Once you do business first time and they trust you, I mean, they're very, very loyal, extremely loyal. Even if you have higher prices, or they can, if they find someone somewhere else, they will still come back to you, just because they do appreciate that patience that you exercise, and they do value loyalty. Selling, just so you know, they excel. Majority of Moroccans excel in selling. And because they do speak several languages, they're good hagglers. And if let's say, for example, you need to reach a decision or an agreement fast, it may not work, because you just have to have time, and you will be going in back and forth several times or several days before you reach an agreement. Managing meetings, it may start late. Be comfortable with that, and you may or may not have or see interruptions. If there is interruption, just be comfortable with it, because let's say there is a phone call or somebody just walks in the meeting, they will talk to that person, or they will answer the phone, and you just have to be patient until they finish, and then they will get back with you. Family, just one thing to mention here is family is extremely important. Let's say, for example, you have a meeting or you have an event or something, and something come up with family, they will prioritize their family over whatever business matter. Here also said they're not comfortable with conflict, so they will avoid conflict at all costs. And you may hear yes, just because they don't want to be in a position to create conflicting situations. And that's about it in a nutshell. It'll be, I said to Munir earlier, it'd be foolish of me to cover the Moroccan culture in 20 minutes, but I did as best as I can. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to me. But overall, working with Moroccans is very, very easy if you know how, and if you know the tools and strategies. Go out there with the mindset that is win-win situation for all the parties involved, and you will do great. They will be loyal to you as long as you show them value, and as long as you show them respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. Just for this question of time that you mentioned. Yes, it's begin to disappear in the new generations. I think it's the older generation, yes, it was, but with the new technology, all the generation that are educated, well educated, so it's like they avoid to be late for meeting, to be in time, and it begins to be established. And I think it's a good thing for these new generations. It's like you deal with Americans when you come with them.
Well, it is important, like I said at the beginning, you have to know your environment, because if you are doing business with the rural side of the country, it will be a different mindset than in the cities, and also generational gap also will play an effect, will have an effect on the culture. So just like I said, it'll be very, very foolish to say this is how it is done everywhere in Morocco, because it's so diverse. And also one thing that I can tell you, and this is when I work with someone, I have to combine the personality profile of the person you're working with and how it functions within that particular culture. So if you're dealing with a high profile, or let's say an attorney, it will be different than if you're dealing with an entrepreneur. It'll be different than you're dealing with a government person, with CEO. It'll be quite different. So there are so many elements that we have to look into to come up with the right strategy to employ.
Mona, can you hear me?
Yes.
There's a question in the audience. I don't know whether he wants to ask it directly, but Bill Edwards has asked a question. Bill, are you there? Can you ask it? Or
my question is, what role does the king play in business?
Yes, so it's a good question for the, as you know, the Morocco is a kingdom. So and the kingdom, yes, the king plays like a good role to trace strategies, to trace big directives, because there is a prime minister which leads the executive and the government, but the king, he plays a role when, for example, for high strategies. I will give you an example. In this year, so Morocco has suffered from dry conditions. It's like 4 or 5 years of consecutive dry years. So we have stress in water. So that have been felt in in the dams, the capacity of dams, etc. So the king is like, he made a directive to put a lot of budgets in this case. So it's like he make high decision, and the executive and the government has to execute this decision. So it's not like dealing directly or influencing directly in the economy, but he's like acting when it's in a vision, a strategic vision, or we are in an emergency period. So I think
my question was more like, is he pro foreign business coming into the country, or is he against foreign business?
He is very much open to foreign investment, of course. And it's not like the king is sitting there giving direction on every day's business. No, the king is more concerned about the big strategies of, or the visions of where the country is heading. The rest is obviously, there are ministries and they're responsible for its sector to make those decisions. Now, like I said, when you go in there, you have to have a vision and purpose. They're just not interested in about anything to come into the country. They're more interested in valuable projects that will advance the country and its people. But as far as your question goes, the king, I personally believe that he has hands-off daily stuff. It's more of security of the country, safety, and the vision, the long term. One thing that I forgot to mention is when dealing with in general, risk avoidance, I didn't mention, but they're more about long-term visions, not just now, whatever I can get now, but they're more concerned about long-term visions and long-term strategies. That goes for the government and also for the people. Did I answer your question? Yes? Okay. I see two, Benjamin and Cooks. Either one?
Go ahead, Benjamin.
That's really kind. I've got to jump off the call in a second. Yeah, fascinating presentations from both of you. I spent 2 months out in Morocco earlier this year, and I had a chat to Munir a few weeks ago, which was really interesting. Loved it out there, and totally agree about the sort of warmth of the people. They're so good with children and very hospitable. And interesting that you mentioned the subsea cable. I live in Devon in the southwest of the UK, and that cable is going to be about 2 miles from where I am. Mona, you were talking about how it's the relationships are very much formed in person. I run a business English company. We've done a lot of work in the Middle East, particularly in Saudi, with like manufacturing companies, chemical manufacturing, petrochemicals. So I feel that our services could be useful to some businesses in Morocco. But given that it's a kind of in-person meeting-based culture, what's really the best way to sort of form connections with decision makers in some of these business? I feel like the approach of contacting people on LinkedIn wouldn't be very effective.
Well, here's the thing. Just like I said, with most multicultural or multi-active cultures, first meeting, I would highly recommend that is face-to-face. At least you establish a relationship, because that relationship establishment will be crucial for ongoing conversations. If they don't know you, I mean, you're just hitting them up on LinkedIn and just sending, they're not going to pay attention to you. The same thing if you send them an email, people are not going to respond. What I would say, the first interaction should be face to face. They need to feel you. Okay, it's a lot of emotions based. It's emotion based society. So they need to know who you are. They need to feel the vibe. They need to know about you, and then you go on by putting strategy or follow-up strategy to get to your results.
Awesome, thank you. So the initial point of contact, you would say, like, you know, maybe a telephone call and then trying to arrange like an in-person meeting.
It will be much better. It will be much better. And things will go faster.
Sorry, I want to add something, Benjamin, to Mona, to what she said. Yes, there are a lot of, for example, decision makers that can be easily like understood, and you can communicate with them easily, even face to face. But in Morocco, there is also a category of decision makers that are like in the old generations. So like they need intermediates between investors and these decision makers. You know what I mean? So, for example, if you want to present them your company or your business, even face to face, it will be difficult without like an intermediate, not just in language, but like also in culture. You know what I mean? So as Mona said, these intermediates will easily like avoid what can be bad seen from the like habits that you do like daily in the United Kingdom, but here it can be seen otherwise. So we have worked with investors, just to tell you, we have worked with investors, for investors, and we can help in that side if you want to make connections here in Morocco.
Really interesting. No, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you both. I better jump off the call.
Thank you, Benjamin. Cooks, you have your.
Mine's a little more personal. There's about 7 to 10 of us that hike all around the globe. We had 7 that were going to spend 2 or 3 days in Marrakesh, go over the Atlas Mountains, ride camels in the Sahara, go around the southern part of the mountains, and enjoy the beach. The earthquake hit. The very path we were going to take for provisions and everything else over the Atlas Mountains wasn't there anymore, so we had to cancel out. It was also brought to my attention as a sidebar, the Mediterranean diets are huge in the United States right now, and we did a small program in Porto, Portugal, of putting together 4 or 5 manufacturers to make one label for the U.S. market. That's all I got. Inshallah.
Well,
Oh,
hopefully
I
you
do
can
have
go
one more
back.
thing. Well, I cannot remember the last time I had a Mona and a Mona on a panel.
Well, hopefully you can go. You can get go back one day. You have a chance to go back.
It's on the list.
Any other questions or comments? Any feedback?
So
Yeah,
you
this
are
is Tommy.
welcome.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Yes, just I want to address Mr. Cook. You are welcome to Morocco. So I see that that really we have been connected via LinkedIn last day. I will be very glad to, because I see the outsourcing network. So how you can, for example, work. Have you ever made an experience with Moroccan businesses, the outsourcing?
No. Frankly, we purposely have avoided most of Africa, though I had some interesting conversations in South Africa yesterday And Morocco was the very first country I've ever wanted to visit in that whole continent. And it was basically a hiking trail. Our job is what we call first to market. All right, where it's like the iPhone type thing. It's the very first one. The other one is what we call novel creators, which is, I think the best example in your country would be like an Uber, where he did not invent taxis. He just made the system better. So our particular models are making, like when we did the Porta thing, that was more along the lines of creating and making an established business better by putting together a bunch of manufacturers who could not do the United States by themselves, but as a company of, I think we ended up with 20 products. Then they had it's like a co-op until they learned the market in 3 or 4 years, and they may go on their own. So our business is first to market and novel solutions to problems out there. As to the presentation, one of the things people like us look at, we can look, everything you got on the presentation is an easy find. In other words, there's nothing there that prior research would indicate that, yeah, we know all that. You may want to shorten that a little bit, then bring in what we're looking for as part of the presentation. What's in it for us to get into Morocco with the different types of, I call them silos, different verticals of markets with all the people on the panel. Look at the presentation for what's in it for us. Not that the presentation was wrong, all right, but it may be shortened because all that data can be found.
It's just a kick off. Yes.
Doug's better at this. Doug's speaking up.
We're at the end of the hour, and I wanted to give each you and Mona a chance to recap. And also, maybe I can quickly answer Jim's question. Jim, I think the good news is Munir has framed this up as the initial one of many events. He can't possibly cover everything about, he and Mona can't possibly cover everything about Morocco, but today's purpose was to give an overview. So you hit it right on the head. That's what the purpose today was, to give the general overview and then go deeper dive month by month. Munir, when is the next meeting scheduled? Do we have one on the calendar? I know you wanted to do this once a month.
Yes, as you know, for the next month, it's very hard with the holidays. But I think in September, it will be the launch of a series of webinars.
So please give us some days and times, and let's get those scheduled for the rest of the year for sure. And then I think all of you have the content of their how to connect up. Certainly everybody's on LinkedIn. Would you, Munir, and then you, Mona, just give a maybe 30-second wrap up, and then we'll close the room just so we can move on to the next Globinar?
Well, for me, I thank you so much for the opportunity to have me here. And I'm always happy to assist and help as far as doing business with other cultures. And today, as far as Morocco goes, that's where I was born. Although I've been away for 34 years, I'm still, I will still remain Moroccan. And as far as doing business with Morocco is pretty easy. What makes it easy are the people. They're quite receptive, quite open, and they're there to help you and not put blocks and obstacles. But again, you definitely have to understand the culture and have to get to know people and build trust and build relationship. Once that established, I mean, the sky is the limit, not even the sky. Beyond the sky is the limit. Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Great information.
Thank you, Doug. So just I want at the end of this webinar invite all global members to to see this opportunity, because Morocco, yes, it gives a lot of advantage, especially his strategic position near Europe, near Africa, and it will be also a good investment because it will reduce costs and it will open. And as we said in the Global Chamber, be global and be unstoppable. So in Morocco, you will be global because you will be here and here.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
will finish like that. Thank you.
There are several people in the audience I just want to give a quick shout out to. I see Comey Clue, who's putting his contact information in, I think, as we're speaking. Comey is a Pan-Africa expert, primarily around getting companies up and started in technology and agriculture, and is a great funding asset if you're looking for funding, and just someone who knows the landscape of Africa, including Morocco. Definitely someone you should know. Nihi Sanusi, I think many of you already know. He's a trusted legal expert. He's also our advisory board chair for Global Chamber Lagos. So navigating Nigeria and Pan-Africa as well with Nihi, definitely connect up with him. He's someone who's outstanding. Not related to Africa, but Mexico kind of related in the same way. Sam Santiago is a global advisor for Global Chamber. Many of you may know him on his expertise about food and tequila and logistics, and overall just an expert at life. He's an extraordinary leader, and I recommend, if you're interested in North America, and particularly either the US or Mexico, Sam is someone to contact. Kat Cronin is someone who's an expert on export and import based in New York, my hometown. So I welcome you to New York. I welcome you to understand trade more with Kat. She is an expert and someone you should connect up with along the way. And I think I saw him, Abdulhaq. If that's the Abdulhaq that I'm thinking of, then we should reconnect, because he's an expert, if it is the right one, originally from Morocco, spent a lot of time in China. Oh, yes, that's me. Abdulhaq, where are you? Can you speak? Are you able to say hi? Are you in Marrakesh or Casablanca or where? Or in Shanghai?
Hi, it's good to reconnect again. Yeah, it was just Caesar sent me a message about something related to Shanghai, and I told him I just arrived to Morocco last week, and I'll be here until the end of the month. And said that's good because we're talking about Morocco. Would you like to jump in? And here I am. So it's good to reconnect again, and very happy to see Morocco coming back on the spotlight. Hopefully, some good opportunities are gonna come into fruition. A lot of things are going on in Morocco, and for that reason, now I'm spending half my time in Shanghai, half my time in Casablanca, starting last year. So after 10 years of full-time Shanghai, China, now it's 50% Shanghai, 50% Casablanca.
Let's find more ways to collaborate. Cesar, is there anything else that we've left out, or anything that you would like to say in conclusion? I know we have another meeting. It's not a Globinar, but it's a regular meeting that we were going to have using this line.
Yeah, no, I think, I was telling Abdel, Morocco is one of my favorite countries. So I look forward to going back one day, and I appreciate Munir and Mona for your time. And I think this is definitely a good monthly conversation, and Abdel can probably add more. And we have others. We have Aviv as well in Casablanca. So Munir, you're gonna make sure they're all listed and they can be guests in this program. So thanks again.
Thank you, Caesar, for
Munir,
your effort.
thanks, Mona.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, all the team.
Of the holiday, and thank you all for attending today. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.